How are those scans of the ion trail?
As strong as ever, Doc, and getting stronger. Yo, Doc, I'm curious about something. Are you sure we should be trusting those clowns from the VGA? I mean, couldn't they just blast us if they wanted to? I wouldn't be surprised if they would, but fortunately, we do have two things going for us. One is the revenue agreement, and the other is that the VGAs had some spaceships go missing in this sector the same way as the Blasphemy. So chances are they might find out more if they follow us. Guess you got a point there. I just hope that the crew is alright. Greetings, travelers. I'm your host, the C-Dot that knows a lot, Dr. Waluigi. Today we will be continuing our look into the Nightmare on Elm Street series with one of the most polarizing sequels to ever come out. In more ways than one. This is A Nightmare on Elm Street 2: Freddy's Revenge. One year after the release of the original, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2 came into theaters on November 1st, 1985. The movie was another financial success, raking in $30 million at the box office on a $3 million budget. Unfortunately, the film was poorly received by critics and audiences, as they mostly stated that it was a more cartoony mess with very few scares. This could be due to the fact that at the time the MPAA were making an effort to reduce the amount of violent content because parents complaining that there was too much violent content in media. But as of today, the film has a more positive response by fans due to the lackluster of the other bad sequels in the franchise. After the events of the first movie, a new family moves into the Thompson house, where the eldest boy, Jesse Walsh, played by Mark Patton, starts to dream about Freddy. As his dreams continue, he slowly realizes that he is turning into Freddy. Can he free himself from Freddy's clutches, or will Jesse succumb to his nightmares and take on this unnatural form? I feel that it's here where we see some of the weaker cast throughout the Nightmare franchise. On the one hand, there are some good performances like Jesse and his girlfriend Lisa, played by Kim Weber, and of course Robert Englund is still creepy as Freddy. However, the main problem I have is that the rest of the cast seems forgettable. Besides Jesse's family, the only other remaining cast members that I remember are the gym teacher, played by Marshall Bell, and Jesse's frenemy, Ron, played by Robert Russell. The rest of the cast are just fodder for Freddy to kill at the end of the movie, but I will get to that in the next part. One of the ideas I liked about this movie is Freddy possessing someone in order to come back to our world with all his powers. It still keeps Freddy pretty ambiguous and shows off more of his powers as a dream demon. I just wish that this had better writing to expand upon these ideas instead of focusing on Freddy as a slasher villain. Another thing that I think people don't talk about what makes this movie great is the special effects. From everything to the kills to the transformations are still some of the best and even improve on the effects from the first movie. This movie's biggest problem is in the writing. Apparently, this movie went through 2 script rewrites, and it shows from how the first half of the movie focuses on Jesse and him going through the possession, and the second half focusing on Freddy and how Lisa has to stop Jesse from becoming Freddy. As I mentioned before, the rest of the cast ends up becoming forgettable and only exists to become kill fodder for Freddy, which is shown through the ending where Freddy just goes to town and kills a bunch of teens at a pool party. But you don't care about them dying because they were only in this part of the movie. And of course, I might as well mention the big controversial overtones with this movie. The random gay moments. To be honest, I don't really care that much about these moments because they're either hinted at or are just caused because some random fan points them out. I won't mention what the scenes are because they're not important to the story and people really need to stop pointing them out already. This movie is really hard to justify as a good movie. If the writers had a clear idea on what the movie should have been about, this could have been a really good slasher movie. The main cast is good, the nightmare sequences are still creepy, and this movie has some of the best special effects. Sadly, the movie just falls into the middle pile of movies that are only remembered by fans and people who've seen those gay moments in the film. If you're going to watch any of the movies in the franchise, just stick to the first movie. I give this movie a 4 out of 10, and that's only for the cast and the few memorable effects in the movie. Thank you all for watching. I'm Dr. Waluigi, and remember, don't judge a book by its cover, because you'll never know what's inside. Good night, everyone. Look, we found the Blasphemy. Alright, put it on screen. My God, she's been completely ripped apart. Brazier, send out a message to the Nazareth to prepare for a boarding party.